thought she was sweet?
Well, normally we have conversations. We have conversations and we talk about
people's lives are at stake, sir.
This is life or death.
It sounds like you're an agitator.
The peaceful, loving Democrats.
Look at this. You're surrounding me.
Guys.
He's spitting in my face saying he's going to break my jaw. And I'm the agitator. I'm the bad guy.
And there's kids in there.
I'm the bad guy, yeah.
I was asking earlier.
Well, I think you're probably a nice guy, get down. And outside this, we probably get on down at the pub or something.
I'm sorry, I can't understand you.
What you want to do? You want to kick for them? You want to kick up for them? Kick.
Want to what, sorry?
You want to kick up for them?
I think you gotta go.
You out here kicking up for them?
I think you gotta go.
No, I'm staying here. I'm not going to be intimidated by violent people.
Oh, you mean like you came here with guns yesterday?
I'm not scared of
you. You mean intimidated by like motherfuckers with guns yesterday?
You can swear up to me and get
So
violent.
why do you love you if you're not afraid of him?
Why would I be afraid?
You're definitely less afraid of me.
I'm a human being here to have a conversation.
Are you a human being?
You're not here to have a conversation.
Are you a human being?
Oh, he's not a human being.
I admit it.
We're not stupid.
I admit it.
You need to get
I'm here for all the smoke. I'm here for all the smoke. Yeah, I want it.
And then
I need it.
And then you called him.
Go down to the gym then, mate. Go down to a boxing gym if you want to scrap. I'm not going to scrap you.
What's wrong with you?
Anyone watching him squaring up to me, saying he's going to break my jaw? Like...
I said it. And what? And what? You came out here. You came out here.
So as far as this leftist is concerned, my wife hates it when I call them leftists, but that's what they are, okay? And don't tell my wife that I still call them leftists. This leftist believes that simply because they disagree with this journalist, he shouldn't be around, okay? He hurts their feelings by simply being there. And instead of having a conversation and arguing his position, he wants to break his jaw. All right. So this is the tolerant, loving left who believe that the world is made up of candy floss.
You knew what it was when you came out here. You knew what you were doing asking those questions. You got what you wanted.
Dude, you were
now do something about it.
Very, very
do something about it. You got what you wanted, right?
So his problem is that he's asking questions. Okay, the left that talks about freedom of speech, the First Amendment. But the First Amendment gets thrown out the window as soon as someone begins to ask common sense questions.
Mate, you do something.
Do something about it.
You're the one squaring
I am. I am.
Sorry.
Let somebody come and talk to me like this. Think rock. I'm who's in front of me?
Is DMX back? I think so.
Squaring up to me, saying he's going to smash my... I'm a journalist from London. You're
both getting in each other's face, so just separate.
I'm not getting in.
Oh, come on. Now that is the police force from a blue city. Someone is walking up to him and sticking his nose in this guy's face and screaming and spraying spittle at him. And he says, both of you are getting in each other's faces. I don't know where they get these guys from.
So I'm standing here very calmly and politely asking questions.
Provocative questions and...
What? Call your boys. Where the Proud Boys at? Where the Proud Boys at? Yeah, get that on camera. Send that to them. Where they at? Where you at? You gonna that tough on and females and bro. Out of here.
So there we go. I was told this would be a more sedate time to come down here to the detention facility in Newark. The sun's out. It's quite a nice. One of the guys wanted data on illegals committing more crimes potentially than others. And that's the reaction. There's only about 10 of them there. Very violent, getting in my face, threatening to break my jaw, squaring
I know who
up to
DMX
me,
is.
all sorts of abuse. And if you can imagine what happens when the sun goes down and there's more of them, that's why you see ICE agents being bitten, being attacked. That's why let's be honest, that's why you see people like Charlie Kirk being murdered.
Now, this guy came from the UK. And someone who came from the UK, who's been watching this insanity from across the ocean, is seeing more clearly than the guys at TDSBC, right? So this is the same thing that happened to me, watching the insanity from Nigeria and calling it out as I'm almost pulling out my hair and saying, what are these people doing? Okay, now we're going to play one more and then we're going to essentially just go through the stories, okay? There's a major story that I want us to look into and we're going to be taking a few steps back, a few years to hear what CNN had to say when the shoe was on Donald Trump's foot. All right, so let's have a listen. Now, there's no feed coming from the ICE facility. Everyone has gone home. They've taken their balls and they've gone home. I'm going to read the chat and open up in a bit. So let's just have a listen to another leftist protester declare about white fascist.
Is Trump a fascist?
What? Is he high?
What makes Trump a fascist?
He does things without
You gotta talk loud. I don't have my mic on.
No, I think he's high.
not really good into interviews stuff like that.
Sorry?
He just does everything he wants and not following laws or he's a
So Trump does anything he wants, okay, but they won't let him build the ballroom, a secure ballroom for state dinners and balls and meetings. They want him to continue to host international dignitaries under a tent that is very much not secure.
convicted felon, that's all I know.
The convicted felon argument
Your
again.
sign says he's a fascist, and I'm just curious what makes him a fascist.
One of the things is that he's trying to control the media, right?
Say it again?
He's trying to control the narrative.
How is he trying to control the media?
Sorry. Now you see these people, when you list for them the fact that Biden colluded with YouTube, Google, X, not X, Twitter, Facebook, and told them that anyone who's on the conservative side who says anything that they don't like, they need to essentially ban them or terminate their account or censor them. Okay, when you tell them that during the Biden years, the censorship regime was off the charts, they'll tell you that you're lying. But you and I saw it. Okay, we experienced it. Patricia was kicked off Facebook for 3 months because they posted something. She posted something they didn't like.
Doesn't every president try to control the narrative?
they try to control their own narrative, but one of the things that Trump's has done, for example, is the renaming the Gulf of Mexico, and then not allowing the Associated Press to come into the White House. Basically, trying to get.
What are your feelings about him renaming the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America when a majority of the Gulf is in fact
in America,
on the coast of America, as opposed to Mexico?
I mean, it's kind of pointless.
Okay, so it's pointless. It's pointless when you present them with facts. It's pointless when you tell them that you can't have open borders. No, it's racist. No, people have closed borders. Countries don't exist without borders. His argument is it's pointless.
People.
Is it pointless?
Yeah, people call it the Gulf of Mexico. What's the
Don't you
point
think
of
it could have a
changing the name?
positive tourism impact potentially?
Tourism has been down heavily.
So I don't want to get into a tourism debate. My question is, the sign says the fascist Trump regime must go.
Yeah.
And so I'm just curious what makes him a fascist. You pointed out that maybe something about his relationship with the media, he wants to control it, but
Yeah.
how? Again, you're calling him a fascist.
Yeah. Well,
What makes him a fascist?
One of the core tenets of fascism is creating an enemy, right, and blaming those problems on
What's
the enemy.
that?
Which is what you
maybe
guys
they-
do all the
yeah.
time.
Who gave you that?
The people that gave me the sign. It's a free sign.
Oh, someone gave you the sign,
Yeah.
and then they gave you the handout.
Yeah.
So are you reading it now to try to answer the question?
Yeah, but I mean.
Can I see that? Can you hold that up?
I'm just not.
No, I'm just curious.
You can have it.
I can have it?
Yeah, you can have it.
Alrighty. So where did you get the sign?
All the way in the gatekeeper's house.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just pretty cool.
And that's another one? They gave you two pieces of paper?
Here.
Can I have that one too?
Yes, you can have both.
Oh, okay. So what brings you guys out here today?
Just because I saw people were hanging out with people from.
Yeah, same thing as everyone else. Executive overreach.
These guys are just off the. They're essentially unhinged. The first guy is high. The second guy is delusional. All right, so let's say hi to the chat. Guys, thank you so much for keeping the chat on the 24/7 live stream going. I can see the chat. It's glorious. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for essentially I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Well, So thank you guys. There are still people who are watching the 24/7 live stream. That live stream is essentially meant to be like a replay of all the shows. So thank you guys for going in there and hanging out. I could see the chats between Gardening and Chrissy. I saw Intergalactic Wrangler popping in. Thank you guys so much for just using that as a town square. I love what you guys have done with the place. So thank you so much. Now, John Bolton is in the news, okay? But we're going to get into that after I read the chat, right? I'm going to catch up with the chat. You guys are exchanging, pleasantries. And then let's see. Oh, geez. Look, I love what I see in the chat. And you know what? So Intergalactic Wrangler says, way to go, Patricia. Yeah, look, she will tell you that story. Like, it was insane. Let's see. DMX is a rapper who screams like that. Yeah, I knew about DMX, and honestly, I didn't like his style of rap. It felt too aggressive. Let's see. Intergalactic Wrangler says, hold this sign for me. I'll give you free cigarettes. That's exactly. Well, do you think they promised him free cigarettes or something else stronger? Gardening says, this guy seems to be so happy. Of course he's happy. The guy is high as a kite. Gardening says, no, that one was not too violent. No, he wasn't. He was transported. Okay, he was transported into that dimension where, unicorns and tooth fairies hand out margaritas. Let's see. So Gardening is asking if it's pointless to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, then why make it a point? Gardening, brilliant comeback. Okay, I'm going to put that in my back pocket for next time someone says that. Let's see. Let's see. And then Gardening said, here are my points. Pulls out paper to see what he's supposed to say. Of course. Because most of these guys don't have a mind of their own. They can't think for themselves. They all essentially have to read the talking points. All right. Gardening says the chat was Intergalactic's fault. Well, look, Intergalactic, if it's your fault, well, thank you for making the chat look glorious. Thank you so much. I'm looking at it on the side, and it's just amazing. Thank you guys for keeping the engagement going, not just here, but also over there. And then let's see. Gardening says, the first few minutes of the chat is just some words. Well, yeah, it is. But you know what? I love seeing it. It lifts my spirit. Now, again, I have a personal update, okay, of that variety of the immigration story that my family and I are going through, that variety. And what I want to do is to, again, leave it till the end of the live stream so that we can talk about the stories, and then my super fans hang out. And I have not so good news. And I'm going to give you an update, okay? Like I promised, I'm going to be transparent with you guys and let you guys know what's going on. Now, let's jump into the news of the day. John Bolton is to plead guilty to illegally retaining classified documents. Nick Sauter says he and his mustache will have to pay a $2.25 million fine, and he faces up to 60 months in prison. The traitor is getting what he deserves. Let's have a listen.
Breaking news, sources revealing that John Bolton is planning to plead guilty to retaining classified information. That plea will likely keep him out of prison. This stems from a charge, 18 of them at the end of last year, of keeping a diary-like material of classified information. So it looks like that case is moving forward and all likelihood is now settled. All right, now.
All right, so that is the mainstream. Fox News is reporting on that. Now, here's John Bolton, okay, in 2024, all right, spending his time going on every cable show in America, smearing President Trump as a criminal for retaining classified documents. Look, guys, you can't make this up. Like, this reads better than fiction. Like, you and I couldn't have written a better story. Okay, let's have a listen.
And so I think a lot of these documents he may have just thought were cool. A lot of them he thought might be souvenirs. A lot of them he thought might be useful to him later. I can't answer the question until I see the document. But, well, there are a lot of theories that he could use it as information against his enemies, that he could give it to people in exchange for favors. We don't know. And frankly, I don't think speculating about the reasons is all that helpful. The simple fact he had the documents, for any reason or no reason, should subject him to prosecution.
So, my Democrats out there, okay, good people who vote blue, no matter who, this is why I don't trust anyone on the Democrat side. And I don't trust CNN or TDSBC, because this guy, while he was saying this, was keeping classified information.
How do you think this ends for the former president?
Well, I think if I were an innocent person, if I were Donald Trump and I were innocent, I'd be saying, I want this insult to my integrity, I use these words loosely, removed as soon as possible. I'm prepared to waive a lot of frivolous procedural motions.
So, John Bolton, did you remove these insults to the integrity of your mustache from your possession? Ow, I made a mistake.
Use these words loosely, removed as soon as possible. I'm prepared to waive a lot of frivolous procedural motions. I want to go to trial in the next 60 days. I don't want to drag this out. I'm innocent. I can prove it. Let's go. Does anybody think Donald Trump's really going to do that? I hope the Justice Department really does try for a speedy trial, because frankly, the sooner it goes to a jury and we find out their answer, whatever that answer is going to be, the better for the country.
His mustache kind of reminds me of a harmonica, you know. Now, look, guys. Look, is it bad that I feel happy about this? Is it bad? Now, while John Bolton is going through this entire situation, here's now I haven't played this video, but here's what CNN had to say about his conviction, or not his indictment. Here's Caitlin Collins.
In his first reaction to his indictment, John Bolton says he is the victim of the very thing that President Trump has spent years complaining about, the weaponization of the Justice Department. Except this time, John Bolton says it's his former boss's Justice Department that is doing precisely that to him. He says in this statement that he looks forward to defending himself against these charges and that he has never compromised American foreign policy or national security during his career. But he makes clear what he believes is the underline of this entire indictment against him, which is the president's retribution. John Bolton has become a huge critic of Donald Trump's. He did not vote for him in the last election, and he criticized the way that Trump approached foreign policy and the presidency, criticisms that obviously were elevated given he had a first-person perspective to all of that as Trump's national security advisor. He makes clear that he believes he is only being targeted here because of those criticisms of Trump.
Now, just listen to how CNN frames this report on John Bolton illegally holding classified information.
That's the same thing we've heard from people like the New York Attorney General Letitia James and the former FBI Director James Comey, who say they believe all of these prosecutions are driven by politics.
Yeah, so they're driven by politics, yet John Bolton pleads guilty. How does that work? Now, while the raid on Mar-a-Lago was still in progress, CNN was already saying that Trump was guilty. Here's the split screen of this. Immediately after the FBI raided Bolton's home, CNN started claiming it was a political payback. Well, I'm sure that Erin Burnett will issue a correction, and this is coming from Mays. Let's have a listen.
Breaking news. We are learning that the FBI executed a search warrant at former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida. We also know that it had turned out earlier, right, that the president had taken a lot of documents that were marked as top secret classified to Mar-a-Lago that he shouldn't have. So
nothing about the weaponization of the Biden justice system against President Trump. We know it's a stated fact that he's guilty. That's what CNN did. We just listened to Caitlin Collins doing her very best to frame John Bolton as the victim of this entire thing.
I guess let's just cut to the bottom line on what's happened here. Do you believe that the raids on John Bolton's home and his office are political payback?
So it's like night and day. Look, I want to like people. I don't want to spend my time sifting through people's history and saying, look, you didn't do this the last time when it was someone else, but now when it's your guy, you're doing it differently. But you know what? Because we have a dishonest news media, we have a dishonest political class, we get to have all of this fodder for our live streams. And you know what? I don't think any of them will change. They're all going to continue to tell the same lies. They're all going to continue to provide us with tons of evidence about how disingenuous they all are. So here is another media operative of the Democrat Party. Okay, this is John Carl from ABC Fake News. Carl spent years spreading the Russia hoax, the Fine People hoax, and many other hoaxes. Watch the difference in how Carl covered the raid on Mar-a-Lago versus how he covered the raid on John Bolton's home.
So he sees this as an opportunity to again portray himself as the victim. This is classic Donald Trump. He spent most of his presidency portraying himself as a victim of the Russia investigation, certainly his impeachments. And now he's portraying himself as a victim of a runaway and politicized Department of Justice.
In a moment, we'll get to the stunning developments coming into the weekend, with FBI agents swarming around the home and office of former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton. But first, the context. This didn't happen in a vacuum.
Really?
John Bolton is on a long list of Trump critics who are now facing the wrath of President Trump and his Justice Department.
These guys, for the entirety of the Biden years, pretended that Letitia James didn't run a campaign saying that she was going to get Trump, that the Biden DOJ didn't immediately begin moves to indict Trump and everyone in his inner circle, that the White House wasn't a central hub of all the prosecutors from Georgia and New York who were having active cases on Joe Biden's chief political opponent. It wasn't, I mean, they conveniently left that out. And they pretended that, well, there's nothing to see here. And right now that we're having a case against someone that they like, someone who gives them dirt that they can use to try to scrape ratings, it's now weaponization of the justice system. Now let's read the chat before we head up to the next story. You guys are just enjoying this particular story because do you know what? It's called vindication. It's called vindication. When we spent years staring in horror at our TV screens, wondering what was going on in the United States. How is it that a former president is being attacked relentlessly by the sitting president? It never happened before until Trump. We knew it. We were horrified by it. We talked about it. We were concerned. And whenever you spoke up about your concern, you were told that you were spreading misinformation, that you were one of those people who had been brainwashed when we were just looking at the facts. All right, so let's see. I see this John Bolton headline, but I don't know what it was I didn't know what it was about. Okay, so we've covered that. Isn't John Bolton the one who threw a fit about Trump and the documents? And yes, we played that video. Whatever these people say Trump did seems to be what they are doing. It is so crazy to me. That is the Marxist communist way. Accuse the other person of the thing that you are doing. That's what the Democrats do. Oh, Trump is planning to rig the midterms. That's exactly what they're doing. There's a story developing from California. I hope we can get to that story this evening. It is weird. These guys are so shameless. They are literally attempting to rig the California gubernatorial and mayoral elections. And they are accusing President Trump and the GOP of being the ones planning to rig the election by demanding voter ID and demanding that stringent steps are taken to screen mail-in ballots so that people don't cheat. And as far as the Democrats are concerned, making sure that the elections are fair is rigging the elections. Like, you can't make this up. You just can't make this up. It's like saying securing your home is going to let the crooks in. That's what these guys keep saying, and it's just weird to watch them say this with a straight face. Okay, let's see. Gardening says, the simple fact that you had the documents for any reason should lead to your prosecution, my friend. Well, he's going to be getting 60, did they say 60 months? You know, they wanted to put President Trump in jail for the rest of his life. They wanted to bankrupt him. Letitia James said something about him paying a fine that ran into tens of millions of dollars, trying to bankrupt. I think it was over 50 million or over $100 million over the filings that he made to secure a loan from Deutsche Bank. And then they claimed that the transaction was dodgy, and that that Trump, had some irregular assessments to his property. The judge, who isn't a real estate agent, claimed that the properties were valued for less, and because of that, it was a bad faith transaction, even though the bank said, look, they were happy about the results of the transaction, and Trump paid them back their money. The judge says, oh no, Trump is at fault. Letitia James and her cronies were able to squeeze through a judgment, essentially claiming that Trump committed a crime because his assessors, people who assessed his property, assessed the properties wrong, and that the judge's assessment was the right one, so he would pay a fine that they attempted to use to bankrupt him. Look, we all saw this happening, and CNN said, well, justice is being served. They didn't call it a weaponization of the justice system. It's insane that we're here. Like, the fact that we're literally having this conversation is just weird because we all saw what happened. Intergalactic Wrangler says, I love the mustache song. I don't know the mustache song, what the mustache song is. Let's see. I get so tired of CNN's lies and half-truths and shade throwing. Well, they exist to do that. If CNN changed, they would lose essentially 100% of their market, because they have created a market of people who want to hear bad things about conservatives and President Trump. When President Trump leaves office, will CNN still be in business? Because Trump essentially makes up over 90% of their news. It's Trump related or Trump adjacent. Gardening says someone needs to post the side by side of every time all these people say one thing and then change it or outright lie. A lot of times people just mention it, but seeing it side by side is different. I'm going to be harvesting a bunch of these side by sides and playing them during the live stream. So thanks. I'm going to be doing more of that because I see a lot of it. And it's like, it's crazy that the evidence is right there, out there, and people still vote for these clowns. They want to eat their cake. They want to what? They want their cake and eat. Okay, they want to have their cake and eat it too. Let's see. Okay, there you go, talking about food. I'm in a healing mode now. All right, guys. Intergalactic Wrangler says, I want a Trump Lego set. Let's find a Trump Lego set. Maybe we can add it to our merch. Who knows? Maybe we can add it to our merch. All right. So the Democrats have spent the last few months backing a literal Nazi. Okay, so I'm going to look for the other story. Sorry. Let me find the other story that covers this. I like the way it was covered. If I don't find it, it messed up. Okay, I think I messed that up. So let's play this. Okay, because CNN has spent the last few years accusing the GOP and the Republicans of being racist and Nazis. And today, they are literally lining up to endorse a literal racist and Nazi.
Hey, my grandfather's whole family was murdered in the Sobibor concentration camp. Graham Plattner doesn't just have a Nazi tattoo. For 18 years, he had a tattoo of the concentration camp guards on his chest, and he knew what it was. He knew what it was. And to hear people compare that to anything else in the public sphere in America is insane.
Yep.
And it is insanely offensive. These people who are defending him called me and every other MAGA person a Nazi for 10 years because we voted for someone who we thought would improve the lives of working class Americans. And now they are lining up and defending a guy who had a Nazi tattoo, which he knew about, for 18 years. It is so insane to act like anything Donald Trump did was anywhere close to having a Totten cup on his chest for 18 years. This guy is a Nazi, and Democrats are lining up behind him because they think he can win.
Yeah, so the Democrats continue to show how out of touch they are. They continue to show how out of touch they are. They continue to essentially prove that they are so detached from reality that even when they speak, it's almost like, first of all, you want us to believe that a man is a woman. Like, for me, that is a deal breaker. Any party that can stand up to say a man is a woman because the man said so should not be trusted. Should not be trusted to run an ice cream store. Hey, should not even be trusted to sweep the side of the road because they are so detached from reality. What you usually have to do with such people is relegate them to the nut house. Now, speaking of Democrats, okay, the Democrats, I think, are the final form of the American failed educational system because it reveals itself in congressional hearing after congressional hearing. Okay, like that congressman who claimed that that if all the Marines in Guam stood on one end of the island, that the island would tip over. Like, I still can't believe that someone actually said that. Now, here's a hearing, okay, and you literally find out that most of these people can't even give you basic answers to simple world history. And that's why they believe that their voters are that stupid. And sadly, it appears that their voters might have been proving them right. So let's listen to this exchange.
Recently, President Trump proudly claimed that he doesn't think about Americans' financial situation when it comes to the war with Iran. So I want to ask you, Secretary Bessent, do you agree with President Trump that you also do not care about Americans' financial situations?
Congresswoman, who was the president during World War I?
Can you...
No,
are you refusing to answer my question?
No, I'm asking, who was the president during World War I?
I don't know, but clearly you are not answering my question.
World War I was. Well, let me tell
so
you.
I'm clearly
Wow.
getting the idea that you do not want to answer whether you agree with
I'm
President
happy-
Trump that you do
I'm
not
happy
care
to-
about Americans' financial situations.
President Trump does care about Americans' financial situation.
Well, he actually said that he doesn't.
No, that is a truncated thing, like everything is, that he is future-proofing, because I can tell you Americans' financial situations would be devastated if Iran got a nuclear weapon and there was a permanent shutdown of the flow of energy out of the Middle East.
Well, then let me ask you, was your
I
prediction...
promise you that
I'm taking my time back.
I will promise you that President Woodrow Wilson, who was president during World War I, that the Germans did not attack us. That he got into that. It was
you're not answering the question, so let me ask this.
And I guarantee
was your
you,
prediction
President
that Americans
Woodrow
would
Wilson
face
thought the same
only
thing
50 days of temporary...
Democrats know how to do one thing: grandstand, and when they don't get their way or the answers, the gotcha answers that they think they want to get, they talk over you. They don't listen and they don't learn anything. Woodrow Wilson did something to future-proof America against future German aggression, which, in fact, played out very nicely because the Germans didn't even dare attack Americans. Attack American soil. They fantasized about it, but they never did it. It was the Japanese who were insane enough to do it. Okay? Now, the part of this that gets me is that you have a sitting congressperson who can't even tell you who the president during World War I was. And while I was sitting here, I was like saying to myself, maybe I should ask you guys if I'm right. And I was correct to think that Woodrow Wilson was the one. I am an immigrant who doesn't even live in the United States, and I know this, and she doesn't. How is that possible? How do these people get voted into office, guys? Okay. You know, when we talk about you guys fixing the elections, I think it's a conversation that you guys should seriously be having. Okay? You guys should seriously be having that conversation. Now, so this came into my feed, and you guys let me know what you think, because it's a weird accusation to make. This person is claiming that it has been confirmed that Obama ordered the horrible Mar-a-Lago raid. Now, if it's true, then he must be held accountable, because essentially he's been running a shadow government for the last 8 years.
I'm going to try to get out as much of this information and get it declassified as possible.
So you believe that they raided Mar-a-Lago because they were looking for this? They were looking for the intelligence community assessment, your report on Russia's influence campaign targeting the 2016 presidential election. That's why they raided Mar-a-Lago?
I believe it had to be one of the things that they were looking for. Because, look, that report is pretty damning if people take the time to read it. It's 45 pages. It spent... we had a dedicated team that spent nearly 2 years down at the CIA looking through this. It was blocked from getting out. And the reason that report is so important, right? That's, let's just dumb it down, simply put. We went through every single piece of intelligence that existed. And if anything, it was clear that if Putin was going to do anything, he probably wanted Hillary Clinton to win. But in fact, if you just apply a little common sense to it, the fact is that nobody around the world thought that President Trump was going to win in 2016. Same with Vladimir Putin. He didn't either. And so when you go through that was the intelligence. Every piece of intelligence that existed we went through it. It's in that report. And what do we know? After all this, after all, Trump and Russia and collusion, the two people that didn't collude? Trump and Russia.
Yeah, so that's a damning accusation to make. Now, I have 2 more videos, and then we'll jump into the other thing that I talked about earlier. I talked about California, and we did establish the fact that Democrats accuse Republicans of the thing that they are doing. Now, during these elections, people have been screaming that there's been cheating going on. Now, there are mass calls that are erupting for the Supreme Court to step in and end the madness. California is undergoing another mail-in ballot scandal because It's built into their laws. Nearly 2,000 drop boxes statewide, and the Democrats let the ballots come in super late. Let's listen to this.
Well, what Hilton is talking about is the way California has changed its election laws as of today, right? You got 58 counties, you got 1,700 drop boxes, you got 23 million registered voters, and everyone gets a mail ballot as of 2021. And that's the way they've been doing it in California. Now you got to match the signatures, and all this takes an extraordinary amount of time. Nonetheless, 56% of the vote is still out. That dropped a little bit from yesterday. We'll explain that in a moment here. Hilton in the lead, Becerra second, and Tom Steyer third. It's my sense that all three of them moved up slightly overnight, maybe about two tenths of a point for all three of them. Meanwhile, in the mayor's race, here's where we stand. Karen Bass has advanced. You've got almost 40% of the outstanding votes still out there. And Pratt is in second place, holding his own. Nithya Rama now is in third place. Some of our analysis from overnight of the late vote that's coming in tends toward the Democrat. So that would favor Raman and would hurt Pratt if that trend were to continue. But where does it go? Carl Rove is with me now to talk about this. Carl, you have...
Yeah, so California is weird. The way they run their elections is weird. And it simply reflects what the Democrats want to do across America. And anyone who dares to talk about securing the elections is laughed out and mocked, and people say that they are racist because Black people don't know the way to the DMV, or Black people don't have voter ID because Black people are stupid. Kathy Hochul, remember Kathy Hochul said that Black people don't know what a computer is. Oh, and there she is on the screen. And guess what Kathy Hochul is saying today? All right? New York Democrats just voted to erase mother and father. Governor Kathy Hochul is set to replace mother with gestating parent and father with non-gestating parent. Someone is screaming right now, it's a lie. Well, let's play the video. What? Do you know, I forgot I hadn't switched over. I'm sorry, guys. I messed up. Okay, so let's play it again. Sorry about that.
New York Democrats argue the words mother and father are outdated and need to be replaced with more inclusive terms under state law. All that's needed now is Governor Kathy Hochul's signature. So if Hochul approves, in New York's family court and in domestic and education law, a mother would be labeled as a gestating parent, a father as a non-gestating parent, and paternity proceedings to determine the child's father would be called parentage proceedings. The bill passed the state Senate this week and the state assembly back in March. Governor Hochul proudly calls herself New York's first mom governor. It's unclear if she'll support this change, though.
I'm not familiar with what was introduced late last night, so I'll take a look at it. I have until the end of the year to review them and make a decision, so I won't be commenting on pending legislation.
States like Massachusetts, California, Connecticut, and Colorado to change the definition and wording of parents in their state laws. Democrats argue the bill is necessary to accommodate surrogacy cases and same-sex couples. Now, Governor Hochul's up for re-election this year. Her main challenger, Republican Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, tells Fox this morning.
They always come up with these insane policies, and they wonder why we think that they are insane. Okay. It's not insulting them or being facetious. Why would you decide you want to start changing the meaning of words? And they've been doing it for decades. They try to legislate the meaning of words because they want to allow for the premature sexualization of children. That's what it's all about. Forget the fact that they're talking about gestating mothers, non-gestating mothers. It's all about dovetailing that entire thing back to the trans ideology. I mean, look, I don't hate trans people. A bunch of them might hate me, but I don't hate them. Okay? If they want to do them, they can do whatever they want to do. But they can't force me to rewrite reality and participate in whatever they want to believe. So it's crazy. New York, look, whenever you see these insane policies playing out, all right, it's very clear that your city is run by either insane people or incompetent, grossly incompetent people that make retarded decisions. Right, so let's read the chat and then we will dive into the little update I have for you. Intergalactic Wrangler says, okay, it says politicians should have to pass a competency test. And I agree. Because, I mean, you spend hours deliberating, changing the word mother to gestating parent. Like they're incompetent, and then they can't even run their cities right because their city is riddled with crime. They have illegal immigrants living in hotels while their own citizens can't even pay rent or own homes. All right, so those are the kinds of childish, juvenile decisions that they make because they want everyone else to like them. They don't make big, grown-up decisions. All right. Let's read the other chat. I know, look, you guys, Intergalactic Wrangler, Gardening, thank you for the work you're doing in the chat. I know you guys like talking to each other, so I know you love doing that. But for me, I love seeing the chat filled with conversations. And right now, I'm having a hard time just catching up with you guys. All right. Gardening says, I saw the View where Sonny said bad things about him and then switched the day after. Well, talking about John Bolton, I believe. Yeah, Intergalactic Wrangler says CNN are a bunch of bad actors. Look, last year I started calling, was it last year or early this year? I started calling the newscasters or the anchors on CNN and TDSBC actors because I don't think anyone can read the teleprompter that these guys have to read every day and they have a working brain and they can't react to what they're reading. So they must be doing a great job acting. I think the job of these guys is simply to look pretty and read a teleprompter. Gardening says, I can't believe someone thought the island could flip over like a carton. Those are the people that Democrat voters vote in. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so Gardening says if we had them pass a competency test, there would never be another Democrat elected again. But Intergalactic Wrangler has a point. He says we would lose a bunch on both sides. I agree. Democrats and leftists accuse us of being partisan and being and being brainwashed, but we have enough sense to tell when people are lying to us and we call them out. So, and we do know when there are bad actors in our midst and we want to flush them out. Yeah, so it's true. A bunch of GOP people who have been voted out recently, thank God, wouldn't pass a competency test. Mitch McConnell, anyone? Mitch McConnell. Now he's old, he's struggling, and he should retire. But they just try anyway, let's keep going. How about we stop with all the fundraising and everything they have to do to even get in the race, and we have real Americans run the country. A lot just can't get through the big money blocks. You are right, Gardening. All these lifetime politicians need to go. Term limits and age limits. Intergalactic Wrangler agrees. People who are in their 80s and 90s should not be wheeled in to vote. I would say people in their 70s should retire. But that would affect presidents like Trump, who we need. So maybe people in their 80s. Once your 80 is a cutoff, retire. Don't forget about running for president. Okay? Yeah. And if it affects Trump, fine. We need to get people who are healthy enough to do the job and intelligent enough. Gardening says people who are, yeah, I've read that, sorry. Gardening says, especially when they will not be here for the results of the decisions made. No politician stays long enough to see the consequences of their decisions. You have councilmen in cities who make horrible decisions about funding certain crazy programs. And by the time those programs fail, they've moved on to something else. Okay, the news media celebrated the project as, groundbreaking and amazing, and then they used the momentum of those accolades to go to the next job that they would be disastrous at doing. It is everywhere. Okay, so it's not just the politicians that age out or that are in their 80s making decisions for the United States that will affect people who are yet to be born. But you don't have to look too far. People who are younger making horrible decisions for the rest of us, and by the time those horrible decisions show up, they've moved on to something else and they've written a book like Joe Biden. Joe Biden wrote a book and then tried to gaslight all of us to say, I thought Joe was having a stroke when he was debating Trump. Okay, so if you thought he was having a stroke, why didn't you run onto the stage and stop the debate? Why did you have to take him out to that little party and you had to give him an attaboy? Oh, look at you. You answered every question. And oh, goodness, it was sad. Okay, it was sad. I don't hate Joe Biden. I don't hate Joe Biden. I don't hate any Democrat, but it is sad to watch what they do to themselves and to people they claim they love, all because they want power. Let's see. Yeah, so let's see. Okay, so Intergalactic Wrangler says Zombie McConnell. Okay, so I've caught up with the chat. All right, so we're going to be bringing the rest. We have a ton of stories. Like I have other stories, but we'll bring them up tomorrow during our next live stream. All right, so I have the personal update that I want to share with you guys, and so you guys have been following the happenings, with my immigration process. The day before yesterday, I explained that I was having those issues. If you haven't seen the video, I don't want to rehash it. It's in the previous live stream. And then after that, yesterday, we had conversations with certain people. They asked me not to buy my flight ticket just yet, that they wanted to see to certain things. And we were meant to have a call with the immigration lawyer yesterday, but that didn't happen until this morning. And it wasn't a fun conversation because the lawyer essentially informed us of something. So it was more like they raised my hopes to say, okay, there's something that can be done with filing certain paperwork and opening a court case about the decision that was made. But by the time we pushed back and asked some questions, it was clear that doing that was a bad idea, and it would cost $8,000 to even think about doing that. And there was a possibility of dragging the entire thing out for 2 years. And it's like, no, that's not going to work. So the bottom line is that I'm still scheduled to leave the country. So I'm going to have to leave the country, and I'm going to have to try to refile for a visa or something when I get back to Nigeria. So that's the update. There's nothing flashy. It's not crazy fireworks. It's just we thought that there was some movement. Tomorrow, I'm going to be going to the representatives of the state where we live, and we're going to be meeting with some of them. They want to find out more information. I'm going to give them more information, but everything that we're hearing is pointing to the fact that I have to go back to Nigeria. So it's likely that early next week I will be in transit. And that is why I set up the 24/7 live stream. I'm going to be populating it with with all of the best, I think, live streams we've had as much as possible, so that while I'm in transit, I can pop into the live stream and chat with you guys. I can actually set up a live stream on the go, maybe with my phone or laptops. I'm going to be traveling with my old laptop. I'm going to be packing one of the lights. It's a ring light. I hope I can take it. I'll be taking one of my old microphones. I have an old mic that I might be able to use in transit. So it's difficult because I'm looking at my kids, and I had to talk to my son today. My 15-year-old, he's going on 16, and I had to give him the "you're the man of the house now" talk. So yeah, so it's happening. It's happening. So I just wanted to give you guys the update. Look, I appreciate all of you, Intergalactic Wrangler, Gardening, for holding down the chat on the 24/7 replay stream. I've set it up to keep going, and I would love for you guys to just feel free to make it your own, make it your space. I saw that Chrissy was there this afternoon, and I was excited to see her, that she popped in while waiting for a client. It was amazing to watch, and I'm like, okay, I think if the only thing this stream does is to provide like that connection or that corridor where you guys meet and say hi to each other regularly during the course of the day, I think I'm good with it now. I'm wondering how this will be maintained. I'm wondering how it will be maintained while I'm gone, because when I leave, this room is essentially my studio. Is going to be unoccupied, and I'm going to have to leave this computer running indefinitely. So if something happens and the computer breaks or checks out, I'm going to have to figure out a way to resume the live stream from wherever I am in Nigeria. I may have to set up a server somewhere in the cloud to keep this going, but I'm going to fix it. I'm going to work on it. So I just want to give you guys the update and say thank you for just being patient with me. A bunch of you just wait until the end to hear the update, and I've had a lot of kind words coming in. I would like to read a few of the chats from the live stream on the main channel, because the day this happened, I decided to not prematurely, I just figured, okay, let me also give other people the opportunity to hear what's going on with me. Okay. And wow, there's a lot of comments coming in from there, and it's essentially people just being supportive. Okay, so I want to say thank you to you guys. Gardening, thank you so much. So we're going to keep this going. This evening we're preparing for the meeting with the province tomorrow, and we're going to be. But in the end, I think early next week I'm going to start my trip. It's going to take 2 days. It's a 38-hour journey. I'm going to be traveling for 2 days to to get back to Nigeria. So it's going to be weird. It's going to be tough. But occasionally, I'm going to check in on the live chat on the backup stream. And then, just let you guys know, I'm going to do like spot streams, maybe with my phone or with my computer. I'm going to figure something out and keep you guys updated. All right. So, Intergalactic Wrangler says, try not to be down. Think of it as a new adventure. Take lots of pictures. Things will turn out. Yeah, I don't feel down in the sense of there's no hope. I just feel like I'm not going to be with my family. And to be honest, I'm not a fan of traveling. So maybe there's a bit of that too. But, I'm grateful for technology. I can talk to my wife and kids using technology. I can do a video call with them every evening so that they don't miss me. I'll try to be as present with them as I can. So it's going to be a lot, but I'm going to do my best. And I hope you guys will be along for the journey to just see how that pans out. And maybe I can give you guys a special treat to show you, look, it's going to be a weird experience. I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm going to be staying with a relative, and I don't know what power supply is like over there. I don't know what internet is like over there. But when I lived in Nigeria, there was a live stream that I did that while I was on the live stream, the power literally just went out. Everything went black. So I might be doing a live stream and I'm like, yeah, we're going to, yeah. And then everything goes black. And you're like, what happened? So it's part of the reality of living in a third world country like Nigeria. So my initial reason for letting you guys know what was going on was that I don't intend to stop live streaming. I knew that there'll be a lag where I wouldn't be able to live stream for several days. I needed to let you guys know why. And even when I resume live streaming, you're going to see that the set is different. The audio is different. And maybe even the speed of the production is different because I'm using a very old MacBook. And remember, just last week, I went and bought this new to me gaming computer, which is what I've been using to live stream. And you guys have loved the fact that I don't have to ask if the audio is working. So for those of you who don't know that question, I think I'm going to include those old episodes in the 24/7 live stream where I kept asking gardening whether the audio was working. I'm going to include them. I left them out because I was like, no one wants to see that. But you know what? I think you guys would like to see that. So I'm going to include a bunch of them there so you can see where we've come from. But I'm going to be using this old faithful during my trip. So thank you so much for being a part of this journey. Thank you for the kind words. I can't express how grateful I am to just be connected with you guys and to feel the support and love that has been flowing since this entire situation. It was like a kick to the guts when I got the news, but like I said, it's not like I'm going to Iran or Afghanistan. It's not like that. But the fact that the fact that I'm going to be away from my kids and my wife, and to be honest, I kind of like it here. Okay, I love it here. I have power supply. I have things work. I've lived here for 4 years. So it's going to be different, but we're going to make it through. And gardening says, glad we don't have that popping up all the time. Yeah, we don't. All right, guys. If you want to keep hanging out, the 24/7 live stream is still ongoing. If you are new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, liked or shared our video, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing the video. I'm going to go full screen now so you can see me in all my glory. Hang on. That's not me in all my glory. Hang on. Yeah, so that's me in all my glory. So I'm gonna so what I want to do is I'm gonna share the oh, hang on. I haven't gifted any memberships. So as a thank you to those of you who have hung out to hear my sub story, I'm going to see if I can give away memberships tonight. I'm going to see if I can gift memberships because, you know what? I love you guys so much and I always don't want to miss an opportunity to gift memberships. I'm going to try. See. So thank you so much. I'm grateful that you guys got to hang out to kind of show your support, to hang out with me, to just essentially hear my story and be supportive. Patricia was in the chat and Patricia didn't say a word. That is unlike Patricia. But it's been a busy time for her. It's been a busy time for her. And I know that eventually she's going to be in the chat with everyone else. So while we're here, I'm going to share with you guys the link to the 24/7 live stream. Okay, so the same way that I just gave you guys gifted memberships, I want to share with you guys the link to the 24/7 live stream. So please connect to the live stream. Feel free to pop in and hang out with the guys when you're free. All right. So we're going to take this party over to the 24/7 live stream for those of you who want to keep hanging out and chatting. Love you guys. I'm praying for you guys. And thank you for your prayers. I feel strengthened and encouraged by you guys. And thank you so much. And I'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. I'll let you know what happens with the province by then. Until then, hang on. We're going to be on the backup screen. On the 24-hour stream. So fine, I'll see you there. But for the rest of you, bye-bye, and I'll catch you on the next one.